start clapping.
A special press conference on a special day here in Brooklyn as the Nets have built a bridge for a new coach. Jordi Fernández is crossing it to the Brooklyn side. He's going to be the Nets' next head coach alongside Frank Isola. I am Chris Sheeran. Let's take a look now at Jordi Fernández's resume as he is about to be announced by the Brooklyn Nets organization. He is the first ever Spanish head coach in NBA history. And Frank, he's worked with a couple of Mikes previously in the NBA, Michael Malone in Denver and Mike Brown out in Sacramento.
Yeah, really one of the top young coaching prospects out there right now. Been linked to a number of jobs. The Brooklyn Nets are lucky to have him. You think about what he did with Canada last summer at the FIBA World Cup, beating the U.S. for the bronze medal.
They beat the U.S. for the bronze medal. He's going to have a busy summer this summer because he is the head coach of the Canadian men's national basketball team. So he's going to be preparing for that, and he's going to be preparing to be at Barclays Center, too, for the Brooklyn Nets. And we're going to send things over to Sarah Kustok now, who will get the festivities underway here at the HSS training facility.
Good morning and welcome to HSS Training Center. It is my honor and pleasure to be here with all of you on this very special day for the Nets organization as we introduce the 24th head coach in Nets franchise history, Jordi Fernández. To those watching on the YES Network, on the YES app, and the Brooklyn Nets YouTube channel, we thank you for joining us. And of course, a warm welcome to everyone here in attendance. It's great to see all of your smiling faces, and especially this Brooklyn Nets family welcoming the family of Jordi Fernández, wife Kelsey, daughter Luna, and son Bowie. You guys look good today. I like the Brooklyn black and white. You got it going. Joining me on stage, as you know, General Manager of the Brooklyn Nets, Sean Marks, and your head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, Jordi Fernández. This is an exciting time for the Brooklyn Nets organization, and for those of you like myself who have been here for a minute, it is a fresh journey for all of us as we get set and get going here today. So, Sean, I'm going to begin with you. If you could talk us through the process in this hiring and why you identified Jordi as being the right fit to lead this organization forward.
Sure. Thanks, Sarah. First and foremost, congratulations, Jordi. It's great to be up on stage with you here. It's great to see your family down there. And I'd be amiss to not congratulate you too, Kelsey, on being here. I realize the last month has not been easy for you, the anxiety, the ins and outs, so thank you for having the patience with us and bearing with us, but we're ecstatic to have you and your family as part of the Brooklyn Nets family, so thank you. Some other thank yous, obviously thank you to the Sacramento Kings for allowing us the opportunity to talk to you, during and pre-playoff run and during their playoff run, so I appreciate that a lot. Over the course, of an extensive search for the Brooklyn Nets next head coach, a few things stood out along the way, and it was pretty easy to see from day one, some of the intangibles that Jordi has both on and off the court. His obviously player relationships. Everybody we talked to said, he has an innate ability to hold people accountable, to love people, to really get a response out of players, and I think that was really important, for your player relationships, and that dates back to whether it was coaching Nigerian national team, coaching obviously right now with the Canadian national team, your stops in Canton, your stops in Denver, and also in Sacramento. So the players spoke extremely highly of you. My peer GM spoke extremely high of you, and other coaches around the league spoke extremely high of you. So it was great to go through the process with you. We learned a lot about you. And again, welcome again. Thank you, Jordi.
Big welcome, big congratulations. As I have already said, we're all thrilled to have you and excited for this journey here together. Can you give us your perspective on the Brooklyn Nets franchise and what this opportunity means to you?
Sure. Well, it's the beginning of a new chapter for my family, for myself. I've always believed that the next step in my career is never an ending point. you know, the next step in my career, it's always going to be, it's going to lead me into a challenge. What I really loved about the process that I went through to get the job was Joe and Sean's vision. As you guys know, winning is extremely important, but the way we want to do it, you know, like we want to sustain success and we want to do it in the long run. And that's what I believe, and this is what I think everybody in the organization should be part of. So thanks to Joe and Sean for believing in me and for the opportunity. I could not ask for a better partnership. Thank you to my family. I could not do what I do without them. I do it for them. And also, you know, I get the balance that I need with their love and support. Like Sean said, thanks to the Kings organization for allowing me to go through the process. Vivek and his group, they've been amazing to me. I will always appreciate that. Thanks to all my mentors, my American basketball father, Mike Brown, my European basketball father, Sergio Scariolo, Byron Scott, David Blatt, Ty Lue, Michael Malone, and Steve Hetzel. They've been amazing to me and all the other coaches that I've worked with. And thank you to my agent, because he's been there with me, Spencer Breaker, through the ups and downs, and I would not be here without him.
And Jordi, it's brilliant to hear all the different places and people that have helped shape where you're at. And Sean, too, I think a lot of you probably are very familiar with the fact that Jordi has had a successful past 2-year stint as the associate head coach with the Sacramento Kings. And prior to that, with Denver, with Cleveland, you've been in all the ranks of the NBA, the G League, but also your international work. The head coach of the Canadian national team, also was with the Nigerian national team, Spanish national team. Sean, from your perspective, the diversity and depth that Jordi brings to the table with all of his international experience in so many different stops, how valuable was that for you in bringing him to this role?
Yeah, very, Sarah. The worldliness about Jordi is second to none. So when he's had these stops along the way, he never skipped any steps along the way. He's going to be able to go back and reminisce and talk to people that he met in his coaching stints, whether it's in Cleveland or Sacramento or Canada or you name it. So I think those stops along the way are really vital for anybody. We're always able to go back and say, what do we learn from, as Jordi mentioned, who his mentors are and so forth. And people in his back pocket when things get tough and so forth. When he needs a little advice, who can he reach out to and talk to? So 100%, the worldliness that Jordi brings here will benefit all of us, and it'll help when he has to talk to players. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, who knows what our roster looks like? It could be very diverse. It could be international. You never know. So having sat and coached on an international level, represented a country at the Olympics, which he's about to do in Canada. So that just gives him a bigger sample size to do that.
Jordi, how did the arc of those experiences prepare you for this role?
So I think I'd like to start with my background, right? My education, sports science education, and sports psychology. I think that's been always, as you guys know, coaches are teachers, and to me that's been very important to get to deal with different groups of guys, players, so they learn in different ways. Like Sean said, my experience in the NBA, my journey, starting from player development positions to video, every step of the way, I think that allows me to organize a coaching staff, give a clear message of what the process and the structure will be so we can work with players. I think that is extremely valuable. And then my head coaching experiences in Europe, in the G League, and with the Canadian national team. I think that's the exposure that I needed, but also the experience that I needed, and that's going to be what's going to help us do it the Brooklyn way. And we're excited, not just to be part of the community, but also to create something that everybody else will be proud of.
We'll now open up questions to media in attendance. Please raise your hand, wait for the microphone to be brought to you, and state your name and affiliation before asking a question. Brian Lewis, we'll begin with you.
Brian Lewis, New York Post. Welcome to Brooklyn, Jordy. I'm curious, for those of us who, obviously didn't get a chance to see you coach with Canton, what can we expect to see from you as a head coach? What sort of coach will New York be getting?
So we'll have a team that is extremely competitive on both sides of the floor. And going back to those days, we had Joe Harris and Jorge Gutierrez. So they were, after that, became Brooklyn Net players. So very competitive on both ends. A team that is connected, so that means that they care about each other. And a team that is selfless, that it's going to put the team first. And I think this will give us the identity that we need. As you guys know, the NBA with 82 regular season games and then the postseason is going to be a challenge. There's going to be ups and downs, but like I said, if we're able to fight, we care about each other, and we put the team first, we're going to be very good in the long run.
CJ Holmes, New York Daily News. Welcome to Brooklyn, Jordy.
Thank you.
If you were to think of your role as a presidency or some sort of other public office, what is your vision for your first 100 days on the job?
It's going to be to try to make it organized and better for everybody else. As you know, working with a group of people, you need to get to know everybody, get to touch everybody, and then from there you can organize everybody. Like Sean said, building relationships is extremely important. That's how you're connected. And it's not just me with the players, it's myself with the coaching staff, with the front office, with every single department, strength and conditioning, health, sports performance, the business side, the community. So I think that if you do care and you spend the time to do it, in the long run, it's going to work out. So, everybody says that, I do build relationships, and the reality is I don't know if I'm good or I'm bad at it. What I can tell you is that I try and I care, and that's a good start.
Hi, Jordy. Evan Barnes with Newsday. Welcome to Brooklyn. You look at this Nets team, obviously you coached against them. What excites you just about this roster and the potential, just from what you've seen, both coaching against them, but now working with the players?
Thank you first. Extremely exciting team, a team that has the ability to play fast in the full court and the half court. The youth is always great, right? Because it allows you to have a team for the long run. That's what excites me the most. And to make players better. Our job as coaches is to work with those guys and take them to the next step. If they don't get better, it's on me and it's on the rest of the coaching staff. So I'm excited about the process. I'm excited to get to work with them. I've already been in touch with every single one of them. And that's what how we're gonna take it one day at a time. So when the first game comes, we'll be ready to compete, like I said before.
Jordi, this is José Ángel Abad, Antena 3, Televisión de España. Si nos podrías decir, por favor, unas palabras en español sobre lo que supone esta responsabilidad para ti, también, en cierto modo, para el deporte español, tener a alguien como tú a esta altura en los Brooklyn Nets. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Bueno, primero de todo es un honor poder representar el baloncesto español, catalán y de Badalona, de mi ciudad. Y bueno, es un paso importante. Como he dicho antes, es el siguiente paso y habrán más detrás. Y simplemente pues poder mostrar a los jóvenes entrenadores y evidentemente a todos los entrenadores que creo que siempre hay una oportunidad, ¿no? Y un camino para cada uno. No tiene que ser de una manera específica y en este caso pues yo puedo decir que he tenido fortuna, pero a la vez he disfrutado mucho el camino aquí en la NBA y en este país.
Simone Sandri, Gazzetta dello Sport. What are the biggest challenge of juggling your national team duties and starting with your first head coaching job with the new program? And also, if you can briefly mention, you talk about Sergio Scariolo, the impact that Sergio Scariolo had on your career. Thank you.
The challenge will be to be extremely organized. I think the opportunity that I have in front of me will make myself better and the organization better. Being able to coach in the Olympics is a dream come true. I would not be here without Canada Basketball. They believed in me, and together we could get the outcome that we had last summer. And obviously that goes to the organization and to the group of guys. Like I said before, thanks to Joe and Sean for allowing me to do it in the Olympics this summer, because right now we have time to organize our summer, start working. Then I'm going to have six weeks to work on the tournament and then be back here right around before mid-August. So I think the timings work very well. The experience is going to be great for all of us. And like you say, Sergio, he's been a mentor of mine. He trusted me to be his lead assistant in 2017 with a group that you guys know that made history in Spanish basketball, with great players, with great generations, and I'm like really proud to be part of that group. So he's been, like I said before, my European basketball father.
Jordi, ¿cómo estás? Contento de verte ahí arriba. Está siguiendo esta presentación mucha gente en España. Te quería preguntar un poco cómo ha sido el administrar estas últimas 2-3 semanas, cuando tenías que estar evidentemente centrado en Sacramento y esa es tu prioridad, pero al mismo tiempo pues estar pendiente también de esto y saber que a muy poquito tiempo venía una oportunidad así. ¿Cómo has administrado eso, sabiendo lo profesional que eres y sabiendo que no puedes dejar de lado tampoco en ese momento a ese equipo?
Pues sí, para mí lo primero decir que el éxito individual siempre llega por un éxito colectivo. Y para mí eso es lo más importante. El tener la oportunidad de entrevistarme viene por tener éxitos con Canadá, con Sacramento. Y para mí lo más importante era preparar al equipo y poder prepararlo para el final de temporada y luchar para entrar en el playoff. Como dices tú, una situación en la que nunca he estado antes y creo que aprendes de todas las situaciones y de gestionar el estrés, pero bueno, al final ha ido todo muy bien. Me gustaría haber clasificado el equipo o ayudar a clasificar el equipo para el playoff, pero bueno, la temporada ha sido muy positiva y solo deseo que lo mejor para Sacramento.
Jordi, Bruce Beck, NBC4 New York, welcome. How do you build a winning culture, and how long do you think it will take?
We will see results right away, because like I said before, this industry is about getting results and getting better. So how much you're going to get better, it's how we believe the process is important, right? We're not going to try to push too much. We know that there's proper steps to take, and we'll see improvement right away. But the most important thing to me is to believe in team success over personal success. Because as you guys know, myself, I think it's a clear example. I would not be sitting here if Sacramento is not successful, if Canada is not successful. And it's not about me. It was about the organization, the player, myself. I had a job, and we all have a role, right? So I believe that I had to do my job very well, and then the outcome would help every single one of us that was part of that winning team.
Lucas Kaplan, Nets Daily, right in the middle. Welcome and congratulations. When you're watching these NBA playoffs and thinking about where the league is as you step into your first head coaching role in the league, what trends do you see? What are you prepared to kind of game plan for and think about when you start leading these Nets?
That's a good question. As you know, the regular season is very different than the NBA playoffs. Experience is always important. So when you've never been there, as I always tell young guys, you don't know until you know. The physicality, the way the game at times slows down, and how intense it is. You have to go through it together. That was very similar to what I went through with the Canadian national team, I told the guys it's a game 7 in every game. And the same thing we went through in Sacramento. Not a lot of our guys went through a playoff series, and we went to a 7-game series against Golden State. And we try to help speed up the process because Mike Brown had a lot of experience, I had experience, and we try to prepare them. We were very happy with the way we fought and we competed, but ultimately the guys need to get through it. So all we can do is help them and prepare them.
Hi, Brian Mahoney from the Associated Press. You guys have had a few coaching changes the last few years, even though the team had had some playoff success. I wonder, when you're going through the process, what you talked about, maybe what has been missing, what you're looking for in a coach that can be provided now to have a longer-term relationship between coach and team.
It's a pretty good question, and I wasn't here before, so I don't know if I can fully answer it. But what I can tell you is, moving forward, what we're going to do, obviously say thanks to all the coaches that I've worked for the organization before. I have a lot of respect for coaching. As you know, it's not an easy job. But what I can say is what we're looking forward right now. So, like I said before, being on the same page, being process oriented, being extremely competitive, and building an identity, and doing it the Brooklyn way, right? So that's my main goal coming in. It's going to take time. It's going to take direction and structure, but I believe with the team we have and the partnership that we have right now, no doubt in my mind that we'll start the right way.
Hi, Coach. Melissa Yang, Brooklyn Nets. Welcome to Brooklyn. When you look at the core of this team, what excites you about the potential?
The youth excites me. Like I said before, when you have a young roster and talented, that means that you're going to have those guys for a long time. So you can develop them, and then they can perform at the best, and they're here with you. So that's extremely exciting. The flexibility that we'll have, the resources that we have, right? We have a first-class owner. We have a first-class management group, front office. So if you put all that together, I think that's a perfect recipe for success. So our roster right now would allow us to do, like I said before, a lot of things like playing fast, which usually allows you to find the best shot, to be very physical, extremely physical in the regular season. And obviously, like everybody says, we want to be top 10 offensively, top 10 defensively. And with the roster we have, we'll be able to do that.
Hey, Jordy. Eric Sparopoulos with the Nets. Welcome to Brooklyn. Specifically looking at a guy like Nick Claxton, and you're talking about your potential style of play, and as you look at the landscape of bigs in this league, how valuable is his versatility, and how does it fit into your vision for this team?
Well, you just said it right. Nick is a quote-unquote big that has defensive versatility. I believe he'll be Defensive Player of the Year. For us, he's a priority in this summer. And the way we can play through him, obviously he's very good in pick and roll. He's quick to the rim. He puts pressure on the rim, but also his ability to play the dribble handoff game, which, as you guys know, lately in the NBA is a style that has been very efficient, and it helps us with ball movement. So if you know, when everybody touches the ball and everybody's involved, everybody's happier. You're harder to guard, because there's more, you're not that predictable than just playing pick and roll. So he fits perfectly what we want to do moving forward.
Hi, congratulations, Javier Ansorena from ABC Spain. There's not a huge history of non-American, non-US coaches as first coach. I don't know if this brings you an extra weight into your shoulders for what you have in front of you. And then if you could comment on the Badalona basketball culture and what has brought to bring you here.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to say that it's a lot of pressure on my shoulders, because I want to be myself and I want to enjoy what I'm doing. So what I can say is that it's an honor to represent the Spanish basketball, Catalan basketball, and the basketball from my hometown. So I will always be proud of it, and I will work really hard to keep getting better. About my hometown, I don't know if you guys know, but it's probably one of the best basketball cities in Europe, and I would say in the world. You can experience basketball on the street, the little kids, everybody, and it's what I grew up and what I fell in love with basketball. First as a player, I was not that good, but I enjoyed playing. And then as a coach, I started coaching early when I was 15, and I coached and played until I was 19. So, like I said, the love of basketball started there. I owe my hometown a lot, and I will always go back. And my parents are there, my family, my sister, my grandma. So my hometown means a lot to me.
All right, we're going to take some pictures here with Sean and Jordy, and then media breakout sessions will begin. We thank you all so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Sean Marks shakes the hand of his new head coach. It's Jordi Fernandez, as we just heard from Sarah Kustok. All three of these people on the stage are going to join you and I, Frank, at some point during this press conference. But something right off the top that we heard early on, Sean Marks said it, accountability with his players, and that's what really drew him towards Jordi Fernandez.
And he also talked a lot about, really the main head coaching opportunity that he had was with the national team in Canada. And when you talk to a lot of NBA people, they all kind of talk about how he has a really good way about him with the players. And I think he realizes having that success there, he mentioned it. That's one of the main reasons he got this job. So, everyone talks about winning. It's important because, he obviously has the chops to be a coach, but sometimes the players have to perform on the court. And the success he had last year at the FIBA World Cup really had a lot to do with him getting this job.
Yeah, and as he said, he's going to try to balance his Canadian national team responsibilities this summer, along with being the brand new head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. So it's going to be a busy summer for him. No really off season for Jordi Fernandez. Something else that I noticed here, Cam Johnson, one of the Nets' current players, is here, watched the entire press conference, so he's already has some solidarity with his current player.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting, too. Now, listen, the reporters right now, and Sarah just mentioned it as the MC, and she did a really good job. They're going to break off into different packs. And you'll have the writers, and you'll have TV people. And I think when Jordy sits down with the writers, he'll probably get specific questions about certain players. There was certainly a question about Nick Claxton, but, there's also players we don't know about. Ben Simmons. Right. And then maybe that's a question better for Sean Marks. But obviously, you'd like to go through the roster with him and see what players he likes. Remember, Chris, they came here late in the season. The Sacramento Kings did. Obviously, Jordy was the associate head coach.
Big game for them, too.
And